What's going on, troops? Joe here with Gorilla Group Tactical. Today I want to talk to you guys about two types of triggers, flat versus rounded. Also want to mention the pistol types that you might find them in. Will it actually help you as a shooter, and do we recommend those? If you're new to the channel, like this video, subscribe below. We try to come out with new content for you guys every week, and in this video we're going to get into it right now. Here I have three pistols, each with their own unique trigger in them. Two Glock 19s, one with the standard Glock trigger. This one has an aftermarket Vickers Tactical, and over here we have a 1911 style trigger. So there's two types of triggers I want to talk about. There are trigger sets that I like to call hinge or lever, which would be these two, and then another type here in the 1911 that I refer to as the trigger being in a channel. So the first one we're going to talk about are the hinge or lever triggers over here. So in the debate of flat versus rounded triggers, when going to these lever or hinge triggers, so this trigger set has a hinge or a lever point. So when your finger is placed on the trigger and you go to pull, it is pivoting on this one point up here in the frame. So when you pull back, all of the movement is on here. So this can allow the shooter, the trigger is wedged. You can't push the trigger left or the trigger right. It won't move in that manner. So the trigger only moves straight back, but it does cause problems with newer shooters. I mean, even sometimes experienced shooters, of having too much finger over the top, causing you to either pull or push the muzzle of the weapon, or not having enough finger and doing the same thing. Pushing, sometimes pulling, and that can affect your accuracy as far as your hits on your target. So in these type of lever or hinge guns, flat versus rounded to me makes a difference. And the reason that they came up with flat face triggers in the first place, which I have one here in the Vickers Tactical, it just allows your finger placement a better resting position. And by doing this, it doesn't feel right naturally when your finger rests on here to have too much or too little. So it kind of gives a better feel for the shooter. Also, your finger's not rounding around the edge, because this doesn't have a beveled edge, it's flat. So when your finger doesn't naturally, doesn't feel right when it, goes over the trigger there. So it just makes it for a more natural resting point for your finger. So having that flat spot lets your finger rest better, which ultimately provides a smoother, better straight back pull. So that's the flat versus curved on the hinge or lever trigger set. So on a channel, like here in the 1911, this trigger's in a channel. So the trigger doesn't hinge on a single point. It's recessed back, and it only allows for a straight back. It's not swinging like the hinge or lever. It simply moves straight back. It does not swing. So this kind of alleviates a bunch of other things that you get in these type of trigger sets. It just makes for a better finger placement and a straight back pull. Most of these guns have a shorter trigger pull and reset than these styles anyways. So these just tend to help better. So on these type of guns, to me, it does not matter. It's not going to help. Most of these come flat nowadays anyways, but if it's beveled or rounded, the style of trigger that are in these type of guns does not matter to me. I don't think it will help the shooter. Where I do are on these two. I do think it provides the shooter the ability to have more accurate hits on target if they go with a flat face in their pistol. Will it help everybody? No. Is it a necessity? No. If you shoot multiple styles of handguns, then you're gonna adapt to any weapon system that you pick up. But I do think it alleviates the compensating with having too much finger, because that beveled or rounded edge, your finger does not give you as much feedback as if it's a defined hard edge at a flat face. So I do think it can alleviate having too much or not enough, and also provide the shooter with the ability to pull the trigger more straight back than to pull sideways or even push when they get super anticipated on getting that trigger shot out or dealing with the muzzle recoil. So do I recommend a flat face trigger? Yes. Again, do I think it's a necessity? Absolutely not. These work just fine. I do recommend a flat face trigger, whoever you tend to go with. I think it can give you better audible feedback from your fingertip and give you an advantage as far as overall improving your accuracy on the target.